Progress.
Today. We lost. Okay.
Recording in progress.
I got to the mic.
Good evening and welcome to the September 10th, 2024 business meeting of the Verona Borough Council. Please call stand for pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Provenza, present. Mr. Floda,
Here.
Mayor Kukrow,
Here.
Mr. Alexander,
Present.
President Suchovich,
Here.
Ms. Redzak,
Present.
Dr. Carpenter,
Present.
Mr. Pitch,
Here.
Mr. Jamelis,
Present.
Mr. Long.
Here.
Any additional emergency agenda items?
Yes, next and I have one. We need to add a motion to approve the land development at St. Joseph's Church. That was approved by the planning.
Recommended by the planning commission.
As recommended by the planning commission.
Remind me when we get there.
Do we have to make a motion to add it?
Yes.
Yes, we do. Second.
Motion by Mr. Floda, second by Mr. Long to add the development on St. Joe's property at second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
So under comments from the public on agenda items, that added item is included. So if there's any comment from the public on that item as well, you can address that at the comments on agenda items. We don't do that anymore, do we? Just do one.
Yeah.
We do.
Public related items for both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stuff, we just have to make sure we post an amended agenda showing it.
Okay.
Okay, at this time, I'll hear comments from the public. Please approach the podium, raise your virtual hand. Limit your comments to 3 minutes, please. Clearly state your name and address.
Susie Davis, 537 Bridge Avenue. I have two things. One is, what are we doing about the chief? Why aren't we trying to work something out to end his contract, buy his contract out? Because apparently he's not coming back. This way it frees up money to hire new cops. Because we desperately need them. And second, the boulevard is not painted on South and the boulevard from the school crossing. I called PennDOT. PennDOT says that falls back to the borough to paint. Not them, they pay us to plow and to paint any crosswalks. If you have any questions, you can call Debbie at the Fox Chapel PennDOT location.
How can you be here if you're also there?
Bill's at home. Bill's at home watching it.
Just as an FYI, please understand that Allegheny River Boulevard will be redone this spring to prepare for the US Open and to paint the crosswalks would, so that's part of the issue right now. It's gonna be repaved.
So my dad stands down there to cross the kids. I'm not okay with that.
Can you talk to the mic, ma'am?
Yeah.
Laura Whiteman, I live in Penn Hills at 934 Fifth Street in Verona. So my dad stands down there to cross the children. He's been doing it for multiple years now. I think those crosswalks definitely need to be painted, not just for his safety, but for those children. I mean, the most important people are those kids, not anybody else, to be honest with you. Those are the future. And if you can't do something to help them, then they're not gonna help you in the end. They're not gonna help you keep Verona clean and keep you guys on your toes of doing things to make Verona better. If that makes sense. So can you please,
We're looking into it. We are looking at, we talked to the engineer tonight about it. Earlier today, I talked to him.
Could you please sign in?
You can.
She can? I thought she can.
Okay.
Can't find it.
She's allowed to sign it. So we know who.
Public comment is really for residents and taxpayers, but she did speak, so it would be nice to have your name on the sign-in sheet.
Okay, I'll sign it in a few minutes when we're done.
Anybody else? I don't see no, hands. Okay. Comments on the advisory boards, nothing? Reports? Nothing, I have nothing. Mayor?
Yes, the police report, complaints received 142.
Are we gonna do that during the police report?
Oh,
The mayor, this is the mayor's report.
oh, okay, I just have, I'm sorry. I just have two quick comments. The block watch, meeting was supposed to be for September 9th. Yeah, September 19th, are scheduled with the sergeant and, Obi, the head of the block watch. We decided to do, October 7th. It's a Monday at 7 p.m. here at the Borough Building. And Obi will, send out messages in the future here. And I just want to make another comment on the kickball tournament that we had up at, Cribbs Field. Officer, Tom Dessel did a fine job recruiting them. There must have been, 50 kids, 40, 50 kids up there, if not more. It was a great time. The kids loved it. I think the adults had just as much fun. And, I would like to, just thank, all the borough officials for showing up on that, and, Werner, PTO, and, lean back so I can see who else is on there.
I was gonna make it.
Uh,
It was organized by the Verona Borough, Verona PTO, and the Lower Valley Athletic Foundation.
And don't forget
And don't forget the village.
the village inn.
Right, it was sponsored by the Village Inn, and they had a pizza party afterwards.
And it was a very nice time, and thank everyone that was involved and for helping out, Vince, Tim, Mike, you did a lot also, and, hopefully have it, continuing thing every year. So it was a very nice time. That's all I have.
Thanks, Mayor. Borough managers report, Stephanie.
First thing is Act 49 municipal police state event buyback. I'm just mentioning this because it is a motion to have a study done. There's a law that permits the governing body of municipalities, across the state to amend their pensions plans to allow officers who are vested in their current plan the option to purchase prior and full-time offered police services to be credited to their pension. This would affect Jerry and Sean. The next step for us is to have a study done of what this would look like and request the pension study. The police officers would also have to pay, they would be on the hook for part of the money. So
Would this cost the borough?
it could, but it's an option that we have to offer to them.
Right,
So we will do this, the first things first is to do the study.
okay,
But they can do it for up to 5 years. It's totally optional. It's an elected benefit. You're not required to provide it, but
we're required to provide it, they're not required to take it.
We're not required to provide.
Oh, we're not.
but-
it's totally optional. But it's going to come into play for collective bargaining purposes. Now that it's a law, the unions, not just our union, any police union, is going to fight to have that included in their CBA, because it's, it really bumps up their pension.
Sure.
Budget updates, liquid fuels is completed. We're currently working on the general fund and sewer fund. Just so everybody knows, we are splitting the capital and grant budgets. That way, because the capital budget is our money, grant budget is their money plus ours. So I will be meeting with Matt in the near future to discuss grants and some capital items. If I have not received your wish list, you need to get it to me ASAP. I will not consider anything after the end of next week, because I've got to get the budget together. Finance meeting, I need a finance meeting, again, probably with just three finance committee members, just so we can discuss where the budget's at. The hope is to be able to present something to council on September 28th not guaranteeing that it's gonna be a full budget, but it's gonna give you some options of where we're at right now. Personnel, as you know, we need to talk. If possible, I unfortunately may be going home next week, to check on my dad. So if we could do something like we did the last time on a Tuesday where we kind of just met all at once. And then personnel could have their meeting on Wednesday, that would be great. However you want to do it, I'll send out emails about that. And just so you know, I may be going home next week for 3 or 4 days. I will be available via computer. I'll do work via computer. I'll just be in the state of the meeting.
Is that it?
Yep.
Anybody have anything for Stephanie? No? Very good, thank you. Finance report.
August income was $85,429.90. We did finally receive a recycling grant. I would like you to know we received the money from 2022. Even here, but we got the money. That was $3,874.22. August expenses were $132,337.65. And our net income as of August 31st is $338,000 is where we're at right now in the block.
To clarify, the recycling grant is the 903 for.
Yes.
Last.
It's the whole, it's called the cycling co-op. So it counts for paper, glass, all that kind of stuff. Remember, the 22 grant would not include the glass recycling we are currently doing. This is the first time I've actually seen a recycling money come into the borough, so I was kind of excited.
So that just goes into the general account
It
then?
goes into the general account.
Yeah, that's great news.
Very good. Thank you. Next up, code enforcement report.
The report is attached to your packet. We're still working on the more extensive report. We haven't gotten there yet. The first through third try had everyone that had ever gotten a violation for the entire year. So it didn't say if they fixed it, they did this, they did that. So we're working on getting one that is more of what you're requesting, like what's in court, what's first time, what's in letter writing. Unfortunately, like I said, the first 3 tries just didn't work. We are going through an iWork training right now to try to get that. And hopefully we'll have it in October.
Very good, thank you. Next up, police chief's report.
Complaints received 142, total crimes reported 41, total crimes cleared 37. Total persons arrested 19. Crimes code summary 5. Vehicle code summary issued 24. Borough code summary issued 7. Parking tickets 102. Magistrate fines $812.08. Borough fines and fees collected $1,125. Police reports $30. Municipal, total fines and fees collected $1,967.08. Parking permit fees $120. That's all I have.
Very good, thank you. Next up, fire chief's report, Dan T.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
The fire department answered a total of 15 calls in the month of August. On 8/5, a driver fire at 420 Walnut Drive in Penn Hills. 8/5, smoke in a structure at 730 First Street in Verona. 8/6, possible residential fire at 815 Penn Drive in Penn Hills, which is smoke coming from the wall outlet. 8/7, a standby installation for commercial or for residential structure fire at 11744 Alpena Road in Penn Hills. 8/12, assist for a missing person search in 400 block of West Road Avenue in Verona. 8/14, a good intent call for a caller that turned in an unattended gas can at 465 Parker Street in Verona. 817, commercial fire alarm, 711 East Railroad Avenue in Verona, false alarm. 819, commercial fire alarm, 825 7th Street in Verona, false alarm. 819, commercial fire alarm at One Daily Way in Verona, false alarm. 819, commercial fire alarm again at One Daily Way in Verona, false alarm. 826, assist police with lighting at 100 North Street in Verona. 827, brush fire at 700 First Street in Verona, for a log on fire. 828, assist police with a traffic control detail at 753 Alvin River Boulevard in Verona. 829, commercial fire alarm at 15 Plum Street, Penn Hills, false alarm. And 831, a building evacuation at 50 Duck Road in Penn Hills.
If you want to mention anything about the next Saturday,
The September 21st, announced last month, is going to be our night of races. Doors open at 6, that starts at 7. Food and beverages provided on the ticket. So hope to see a lot of community out there. Thanks.
thanks, Dan.
Thanks.
Next up, we have the EMS report.
The EMS report is it's attached for your convenience. I just want to say, as a board member of Lower Valley, the outlook on life is way better than it was 2 years ago. I'm proud to say it's better.
Very good. Yeah, I understand they're coming along pretty good over there.
Thank you for your contribution.
Next up, solicitors report, Mr. Alexander.
Thank you, Mr. President. I did submit a written report. It was distributed in your packets. The only thing I have to add to that is to announce that we did hold an executive session immediately preceding tonight's council meeting at 6:45 to discuss personnel issues. And that's all I have.
Very good. Anybody have anything for Mr. Alexander? Very good, thank you. Next up, engineers report, Mr. Finch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I reached back out to the health department in regards to the Cribbs Field permit. So I'm just waiting to hear back from them, for clarification to get that finalized. We opened bids and awarded the park project to Sports and Recreation. We sent out the award letter this week, so I'll be working with him to get that project started. If you didn't hear, they announced the CG50 application awards. The borough was successful in receiving the sanitary sewer lining. That is for Spruce Street, Parker, 2nd Street, and Center Avenue. We were awarded $86,934 in grant funds. So that project will get moving come spring and summer, but we were successful with that. We do have some lingering grants for some demolitions around town. Unfortunately, the county has had some large amount of turnover. So they're trying to figure things out on their side. So the funds are there. We're just waiting for the notice to proceed to advertise those projects. So I'm working with Rob Frank at the COG. So as soon as we get the okay to do so, we'll get those moving forward. A list of those properties would be 523 East Railroad, 204 West Railroad, 473 Union Street, and 812 First Street. Along with that as well, we opened bids and awarded the sanitary sewer lining for Selden Ridge and North Avenue. So that award letter went out, so that work will be getting started, as well as the Sylvan Way reconstruction. That is for the stretch between James and Grant. Ron Gillette Inc. Was awarded that. I'm hopeful that he'll be able to squeeze that in this fall. So I'll work with him and try to get that on his schedule as soon as possible. We also have the GEDTF for a lot of the larger street paving project. So that's for 3rd Street, Athletic Street, Vogels Lane. That one was also delayed getting out of the county. So we have the specs finalized on that, and I'm working with Rob Frank to advertise it soon. Due to the timing and as components closing around Thanksgiving, chances of that being done are slim to none this year, so it'll at least be on a contractor schedule and be one of the first projects finished in spring.
Just a delay on the county.
Correct.
Yeah.
So once they, same with the demolitions and everything, once we find out the project's awarded, they have a whole legal process and a contract process to put the grant into contract with the COG. That takes a certain amount of time before we're even allowed to touch the project, and unfortunately with the turnover, they appointed a interim director, which then left 3 weeks into the position, and they just finally got a new director down there. So things are starting to move out of there, but they were pretty bad behind.
So next year, spring, fall, might look like we're getting a lot of paving done.
Correct.
Right.
And then the CD 51 applications, I got those started. The pre-applications are due this Friday. Next year's cycle is our guaranteed year again. So we're focusing on the next block of Sylvan Way to use that grant for. We're also putting in an ADA application just as a backup, and another sanitary lining project as well.
And just as an FYI for everybody, Fairview, where the water main break was, will be completed next week.
Supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah, it's on the schedule. I talked to somebody from the water department, so that's the plan, as long as nothing holds up. That means that portion of Fairview will be closed all week and it will be paid. The water department will pave it and then we will pave our section.
They're gonna put new water lines in, new hydrant.
Yeah.
And we're gonna split the paving.
Yes.
Correct. And it's more than likely gonna be done right construction, so he'll complete the patches on Poplar that we authorized him to do at the same time.
Right.
And that will be the end of our ARPA money.
And then I don't have a schedule yet. When I talked to the water authority about 2 weeks ago, they said probably late September, early October, they were gonna replace the line on First, from Ridge to North, so that would be.
Supposedly, there's two lines going up there.
Correct, I believe there's an
8-inch and a 12-inch.
Or, so they were gonna go with a new 12-inch and only have one line from what they said, but they were still sourcing materials, so.
And the rumor was there needs another contractor to do that.
I think due to the size, they weren't gonna install it themselves,
Right.
they were gonna have a contractor do it, so I think the contractor was, full service, like
Yeah.
water line and paving,
That's what I heard too, yeah.
yeah.
Stephanie, can you give them a call over here on South Avenue in the alley? There's a big pothole there where they patched.
I can call them,
At Diamond, I noticed that.
Yeah.
yeah.
And hydrant on Wildwood too, that there's a bunch of them that still need people.
Usually they do a lot of their patching after they do, like, I'm thinking,
They're working on it now.
yeah, so I will make sure.
Thank you.
Question about when they replace the water lines, does that involve turning water off?
Sure does. They can reroute it.
I think it's only gonna be that one block of Fairview that will be out, if they do that.
And the water department calls and tells people when that happens, that is not our responsibility.
When it's planned.
When
I
it's
mean, when
planned,
it's an emergency break like that, and I, even if, I think there might be a missing valve over there, but they'll be able to. It might be a temporary shut off, but they'll put a cap in and be able to get it back on.
So there should be no problem by you. at all.
Yeah, well, it's not gonna be like a break where it's not.
Yeah, and due to like DEP regulations, when they replace them, they have to actually keep the existing one in service while they lay the new one. And then it has to go through a period of 24 hours of pressure testing and chlorine testing before they can switch everyone onto the new line. So there might be a couple small disruptions in service, but it's not like you're out of water for a week while they work.
Yeah.
Matt, thank you so much for getting the storm sewer grant successful for us. Yeah. I was also gonna ask you about, the demos, did we want to try to get something in for the Act 152?
So if we have any other, I know you had mentioned one on North, unfortunately it doesn't qualify because the taxes are paid.
That's a stipulation of that one.
Yeah, so the taxes have to not be paid for at least the last 3 years. So if anyone knows of any other, we have until Friday that we can get it submitted.
Kind of the one on North Knott. That's in pretty bad shape.
It is.
Is it
What can we do?
liability? Yeah. it's-
I mean, I know the taxes are paid, but what can we do as a borough?
That that's one of the houses that's on my list to talk to Matt about, figure out what our next steps are.
Okay,
We've tossed around the idea before, I mean, I think the owner is pretty willing to just get rid of it. I mean, but because it's so close to the neighboring property, you're looking probably $35,000 demolition. Just snowballing some ideas in the past, we talked about potential parking, because it's a double lot. So we talked about potential, like permit parking for residents up there. I mean, there's not a whole lot we can do unless they're willing to give it to the borough, but then once the borough has it, our hands are tied as to what we're legally allowed to do with the property. And because she continues to pay the taxes, there's not a whole lot of
but if she would,
routes we can go.
if she would give it to the borough, could the borough then sell it? Just for the amount of money that we would have to pay to tear it down?
So you can't. Greg would be able to, and we can't just outright sell the property, you have to put it up for bid. So you're not guaranteed you would get the money back.
Well, you could put it up for bid with a minimum bid.
Can you do
I
that?
suppose you don't have to accept the bids, you could reject the bids. So that.
But I mean, it's sitting there, these people who live in there, they gotta look at this, or they're worried about it falling into the next house.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well, I think the idea you had, if the borough could have sued that property, for parking.
But remember when we tried to do that once before over on East Railroad, ambulance service wanted to give us property and
Yeah.
they did. And it turned out there was 100 different liens and judgments on it, and fortunately we were able to get out of it, but you know, those debtors were gonna start looking towards the borough.
yeah, we would definitely want to do a title search
Right.
first. I mean, it seems, I mean, the fact that she's paying the county taxes, I would assume that she's paying the rest of them.
she is paying all taxes on it, no,
I'm kidding.
When I meet with Stephanie, we'll work out some ideas and we can reach back out to the owners to see what our options are at least.
Are you done with your questions?
I have one last
Okay.
question. We were talking earlier, and in light of the public comment received earlier, do you wanna offer what you said regarding repeating the crosswalks and elevated?
Yeah, so we talked about that, with just the 3-man crew, it does make it rather difficult for us to try to do, traffic control and paint at the same time. There are some options that we might be able to possibly temporarily close sections. There's also some companies out there that just offer that service. So I'm gonna reach out to them and at least get a quote, so we know where we stand, of how much it's gonna be to just have a company paint them versus trying to do it ourselves. And then we can go make a decision from there.
and can we take into account, I mean, I understand the safety issues and stuff like that, but my biggest concern is that we pay thousands of dollars and they repave it in March.
No, absolutely, and it could be something that it turns into maybe that we just get the more critical one at South done. And maybe we do it in-house in phases, even if it's with
Okay.
rollers instead of the spray equipment.
I'm just,
Once we hired
They've done it on the past, on Sunday. Will that come in?
That's the thing, I mean,
Yeah.
we could look at evening or
Right.
weekend, but that's
We did it
call
on,
outs and.
we did it speed aerial lines on a bike patrollers.
Would.
Yeah, so I mean, there's options, it's just,
like I said, I completely agree, I mean, South has to be done, I understand that, but there's some other ones, I mean,
Could we hire a traffic control company and do it ourselves? Like have the traffic control company come in and?
well, that's what we'll
That's
look
what we have
at
to
it
look
as
at.
well, but typically nowadays, those run about 1,500 to 2,000 a day for 2 flaggers.
Wow.
let me see if I can get to PennDOT and find out when they're gonna pave that.
Yeah, I know it's coming up, but
The
I
decision was made that they're gonna completely resurface it before the US Open.
correct.
I don't know how soon that's gonna be, if that's first thing this spring. So let me see if I can find out a better idea of when it's gonna be done. And I'll talk to the boys.
We'll get those quotes and I'll also talk with Stephanie to see in the short term if we can just get south.
Yeah,
done.
just have them paint like just the lines, not necessarily what's currently there.
Thank you.
I have a question too, or not a question, just a reminder with these demolitions coming up soon. There is a ordinance that we have that requires that extermination happens before demolition.
Correct, we put that in the specs, so the contractor bidding it knows to do that.
Okay. All right, great, thank you.
Is that it, Matt?
That's all I have.
Anybody have anything else for Matt?
No, thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt. Okay. Go to council member remarks. Ms. Ridzak.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. Just a reminder, I mentioned that we have scheduled a pedestrian safety audit. I'm going to say I'm actually calling it the wrong thing. It is called a pedestrian walk audit. A safety audit is actually more technical and done by skilled engineers. The walk audit is more observational, but that's going to be on Friday, September 27th at 10 a.m. starting at Off the Rails in conjunction with Representative Mickey Andrews and Senator Costa or representative, along with members of our council, members of Oakmont Council, local residents, business owners, I think some representation from public safety. Susan Davis, I hope you can come. The impetus is if we are to reroute the proposed Bob multi-municipal trail effort connecting our waterfront with Boyce Park so that it is not from Verona to Oakmont on the viaduct. We still need to instill some sort of traffic calming measures on the viaduct because of issues that everyone in the audience is well aware about. So if you are listening, interested in attending, please reach out to me. Also, I just wanted to remind everyone that shortly after that, on September 30th to October 6th is the National Week Without Driving.
Oh, there it is.
I encourage some of you to be participating with me during that effort to raise awareness for people who cannot drive or do not drive and the obstacles they face in getting to everyday destinations. Forgot to mention, I have a committee. We are meeting with the Planning Commission on Thursday, September 12th at 7 p.m. You will have a representative from DCEG talking to us jointly with the Planning Commission regarding the DCEG's MAP grant. This is a grant Borough can utilize to do a comprehensive plan. Looking forward to that. We will still have our regular committee meeting
Yes.
the 18th at 4 p.m. to recap that and to
Just, you know, I will not be there on Thursday. It's my son's, I have to get my son's file. So that's the only day he can do it.
That's no problem. If you have any questions you want us to.
I'll try to jump on in between, so if you see crazy things, it'll be me.
So that's in 2 days,
Yes,
that meeting, right?
and Josie will be here that day.
Yeah,
Yes.
so can there be a Zoom link generated for that meeting?
Yeah.
My suggestion would be, instead of me creating that Zoom link,
Yeah, I'm gonna be driving and I would like to hear, and it's easier to hear on the Zoom calling than it is just.
you should be able to use the Zoom for the meeting. That's on the front of the website. I think that one will work.
Oh, the meeting thing. That's
Yeah.
good, yeah.
Oh, just use the same one we're
Yeah.
using tonight.
You should just be able to jump on.
Oh,
Because I'm afraid if you do anything, like if I'm not here and you have to sign in,
Yeah,
Okay, no problem.
well, if we can generate it though from anywhere other than this, then I think there is a sign on, if she tries to do it from.
well, just generate it from here.
Oh,
We'll figure it out, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
Great.
can have to do that, that's all
Thank
we
you.
have.
Thank
Do you want to see
Anybody have
questions?
anything for Trish? No?
Thank you.
Thanks, Trish. Next up will be Dr. Carpenter.
share screen share.
I got it.
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta get in and
Okay, well, while you're doing that, I'll talk about something else.
you can, no, like, just give me 1 second.
Okay, well, what they're pulling up is just a couple of pictures that I took last week. I know we've been talking a lot about traffic calming So I was over in Aspenwall and they have all these signs up all over town. It says it's a slow down campaign, keep our kids alive, and then if you show the next one.
This is as good as, I could only get 2 of them to come.
Oh. Okay, well, all of the signs say something different. One of them says it's a road, not a racetrack or something.
It's a
like
road,
that.
not a race.
Yeah, and anyway, I just wanted to show all you guys on council that that this is something that Aspenwall's doing. Oh, there you go, slow down campaign. To consider, and my next public safety meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 17th at 5:30. There is a chance that I may have to cancel that meeting if I am not back from my trip that I'm leaving on the 12th. But I'm gonna try to get back in time for that, and we can talk more about this. Whether we wanna do it, what do people think about it? It's not a big thing, but it's something that we can do while we're trying to figure out about humps and bumps and, you know, lines and flashing stop signs and everything else.
Oh, I love it. It's even expensive too.
Yeah, that's, yeah,
And just so you know, all the stuff on bridge will be going up, the flashing stop signs, the stops, all that has been ordered.
great.
And it will be going up.
Okay,
They did some painting of the stops. It looks nice.
Yeah, they're working on it, they're waiting on, I think, a few things.
Yeah.
wonderful, thank you.
The city of Louisville has ordered that they found successful in other towns, or the digital signs that we do place around town that show the speed limit.
Mhm.
They have newer ones that if you exceed the limit, they have red and blue lights on top.
Ooh,
And the studies have found that really grabs people's attention more than just a sign showing you what the numbers are.
It's different.
They're a couple $100 a piece, so I mean, it's something
And I'll have
to
the
think
boys
about.
look into those.
yeah. Okay.
Very good, thanks.
Okay, and let's see what else. In terms of handicap spots and all that. I had talked to Jerry a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever. He said they would start doing an inventory of all handicap spots as they patrol. So that's still in the works. Police are going on vacation and things like that. so.
They are almost finished with that. They did create a new form that I helped them format. So, and then we are working on like giving you ideas for the ordinance.
Okay, great. The other thing I wanted to mention or ask about actually is, we had voted a couple months ago to spend money to do something with the cameras around town.
It's done.
It's done and everything is.
They're all
working.
up and running, yes.
Okay, I just want everyone out there to know that that is been taken care of. Thank you so much. And something that doesn't have to do with public safety, but has to do with public fun is the community picnic is going to be on Saturday, September 28th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. up at Cribs Field. And I just want to mention that so people come, bring your kids and parents and everything else. That's all I can think of for right now. Thank you.
Is there a band for that?
Yeah. Family Jewels.
Family Jewels?
Yeah. Mhm. They got rained out last
I
year,
remember.
so they're coming back.
Is that it, Nancy?
Yep, thank you.
Anybody have anything for Nancy? Thank you, Nancy. Next up would be Vince Flota.
I just have a few things, my Parks and Property Committee met yesterday at 5:30. We discussed updating fee schedules for short-term rentals, food truck ordinances. We also discussed update the cruise concession stand. My committee meets every second Monday of every month at 5:30, and I will be meeting with you soon to discuss the fee schedules. not cut the ties, it seems.
Nothing is ever expected.
Yes, I've gotten a couple other fee schedules for terminals. So compiling, see what else options are. I also want to elaborate on the first ever inaugural Verona Burner Kids versus Verona officials kickball tournament that was this past Sunday at 4:00 at Cribs. We had an outstanding turnout. There's about 60 kids, about 60 parents, about 30 elected officials, volunteer firefighters, police officers, EMS workers, Parks and Rec board members. It was very good, and it is the first, no, I don't want to say the first, but we are going to continue to work on community outreach, community relations between the officials of this town and the youth and all citizens in general, because I think it's been lacking for too long, and it's much needed to reach out. The only way to have your finger on the pulse of the town is to be involved with the town. So it's nice to see all the involvement, and all of the kids had a great time, and nobody was severely hurt except maybe some sore knees and some pulled hamstrings.
We're old, man, we're old.
Couple kids got hit in the face and no broken glasses or
That's
lost
on you,
teeth,
man.
so it was pretty good. So hopefully this will be a yearly event, and it will just grow every year. And we also have some other things lined up down the road that I'm not mentioning. I'll say that as a surprise, and just council get ready to be a lot more active in the community in the future.
As long as it's not physical.
I mean, when you're dealing with kids, it's gonna be physical, and they can't get them to sit still, so
Vince,
just embrace it. And
some of the kids I cross were talking about it, and they wanna do it not just once a year, they wanna do it 2 or 3 times. Well,
They don't know that we're old.
I don't know if our joints can handle it, and we are looking at other options, maybe like a bowling tournament or some, like even like laser tag or something.
Oh, Jesus.
that we gotta get on their level. We're never gonna have them come to book reading events,
Yeah.
Two things are
Yeah,
true. Getting,
competition.
yeah.
two things are true. Those kids are quick and I'm getting old quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are, that's why I wasn't there, I says, unfortunately, it was my grandson's birthday, so that was more important, you know, but I says, the next time I will be there.
Oh, they were ruthless. I was still picking dirt out of my teeth.
I got hit in the shoulder by one of them running to first base, and it hurts. I got a box of candy out for that kid, so if anybody knows who it was, reward.
Yes, so
It was a good time, it was fun.
yes, I'm glad that we had a good showing, and it didn't rain, and all the kids
Beautiful
had
day.
fun. So that's all I have. I just wanted to touch base on it, and it was a very good positive event.
Yeah, it was, thanks. Anybody have anything else for Vince? Next up, Tim Long. Nothing at this time, thank you.
Oh, can we go back?
No.
That's just the informational piece. We also had a Parks and Rec meeting last night, Parks and Recreation Board, meeting was at 6:30. And we decided that we're most likely, like 90% sure, going to have a Halloween themed movie this year, movie in the park. And that will be October 25th, and the movie will be Beetlejuice, the first one, not the second one. Still in the theaters, but it will be Halloween themed. I believe we will be handing out candy and huggies, stuff for the kids.
Very good, thank you.
No.
Next up would be John Jamelis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, last week, the Personnel Committee had interviewed 2 police officers along with the mayor, who's participated along with Officer Francos. We had decided, one of them, made it through the process. And, we decided that, we wanted to go ahead and proceed pending background check. Part-time. And, with the idea that, should this person, work out, and we could go ahead and see if we can test them, later on, perhaps for a full-time position. So we wanted to go ahead and, tonight and proceed with the motion to.
Yeah, that's under action items.
Yeah, under the action item, so. But other than that, we have a personnel committee meeting on the 18th at 6 P.M. And that's all I have.
Very good, thank you. Anything for John?
Any additional applicants?
Well, Stephanie, we have any other updates on as far as applicants?
Not right
David? Okay.
Can I elaborate? To elaborate, the person that we're recommending to hire pending background checks is ultimately looking for full-time.
Yeah.
So we are just starting in time because
We can get him
faster
in.
to get them on the street if we start them part-time.
Yes.
Than wait for civil service.
One gentleman took his dream job, he had been waiting for, he knew it was coming, we just didn't know how long it would be. Or it
Yes.
would be before we got him hired.
I think we actually lucked out there because
Yes.
he was holding out for another job. We did interview 2 people. It's better that he got his dream job first than a week after we had him.
That's
So,
correct.
And
It
then
worked out.
the other one is no.
Okay. And just really quick, what is the timeline again to complete everything that's necessary to hire someone who's?
It depends, if we do it right and with civil service, we can do it in a couple of weeks.
Do we have tests in?
You know,
I'm just asking. We have.
we always have Preston, we
Yeah, I
always
think-
have everything in.
The biggest problem is, well, it's not a problem, is I think it's Act 51 or 57. That takes a bit, that comes directly from the state police. It's a little different than just a regular background. The state police goes way back and they do a very thorough job, and that could take several weeks.
Did we get this fellow's background check back yet?
We are finishing up the last little bit. We have to approve to hire him before we do the big bad
Okay,
delve. I don't think there's gonna be an issue. We did quite a bit of a delve before we get them to this point. We just have to finish it up.
very good, thank you.
It's under my understanding that before it even comes to the scheduling and interview stage, there's already been preliminary background checks.
Very good.
We never wanna bring you somebody who,
Yeah, right. Anybody else have anything for John? Next up would be Sylvia Prevenson, Mrs. Prevenson.
Yes, we have our, flower policy, and, we need to, vote on that. So,
and just remember, I mean, we tried to include everybody we could think of at the end of the day, but we also did give you guys the ability to,
That can always be tweaked.
it could be tweaked.
We can amend this at any time if any part of it's not working.
Policy.
Right, benefit.
It's just, yeah.
well, the purpose of it, the purpose of this policy is to establish a list of individuals for which the borough will pay for funeral flowers. This policy also establishes a limit of $150 per individual unless council amends this amount. So this is why we put this together. And we need a motion to.
Not yet. We'll do that during, the motions.
What is the policy again?
It's the funeral flower.
It's in your packet. Was also emailed to you.
just came up a few times over the last few years. How to handle and who
Yeah,
to
it's
send to and we thought we'd write a policy
Yeah.
instead of.
We figured it would be a lot better to not sit here and discuss for hours on end. Versus where.
It would be easier for the borough manager to be like, oh, this is a person on the policy, I can go ahead and order the flower.
And it's timely, if we have to wait 2 weeks to the next council meeting to get,
Yeah.
flowers approved, the funeral's already over.
Right. All right, very good. That being said, reports on special committees. Mr. Preventer, you're up again, for anyone.
Okay, I will just very quickly announce, I did speak with Alon. And they're finalizing their the Erie Bayfront Conference, which is gonna go October 24th and 27th. Finishing that, and that was all they had for this time.
And just so you know, if you told me you were going, you're going and it's completed. If you didn't tell me you were going, now you're not going unless you want to do it all on your own. So I made sure everybody who told me they wanted to go has a room.
And that ship sailed.
That ship sailed.
Right out into the Erie Bay.
Right out under the Erie Bay.
Is anyone going?
Yes. So.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah, yes, thank you, Mr. President.
Next up, COG. Well, I went there after our dinner and the meeting was canceled.
We're sorry.
Even after dinner.
I was on vacation a month before and didn't know that they canceled for August or September, whatever, August.
I apologize, maybe I should have known that.
No, that's all right. Next up's old business. We have none. Ordinary items. I'll take a motion to accept the minutes of May 28, 2024.
Made that motion.
Second,
First by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passed.
Ooh,
Motion to accept the bills from August 24. Motion by Mr. Long,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Jamelis. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. New business action items. First things first, we need a motion to approve hiring Julian Smith as a part-time police officer pending the completed background checks.
second,
First by Mr. Jamelis, second by Mr. Floda. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passed. Next, I'll take a motion to approve the resolution acknowledging the presentation of an MMO worksheet for the non-uniform pension.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Floda,
I'll second,
second by Dr. Carpenter. Any questions?
but I guess I do. Did we talk about this? What is
Craig
it?
talked about it.
We talked about it.
every year, it's
Okay.
the memorandum of understanding of what we will pay to retirees, non-uniform. No.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passed. Next up, I need a motion to approve the Lachlan Hawk to complete a police pension study for Act 49. Motion by Mr. Mr. Long, second by Dr. Carpenter. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passed. Next, I need a motion to approve the funeral flyer policy.
I'll make it.
I'll second.
First by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Floda. Any questions? Passed. Next, I need,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Thank you.
Yes.
Next, I need a motion to approve the resignation of Daniel Showalter from the Planning Commission.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Provenza,
Do we have a resignation letter?
Yeah.
I had an
He sent
email.
an email.
He sent an email.
I'll second.
second by Mr. Long. Any questions?
I would just like to thank, Danny for all the work that he did spend on the planning commission, all the things he was done.
Same, I agree.
I agree.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Next, I need a motion, and you gotta help me with this one.
We need a motion to approve the land development at St. Joseph Church as
Recommended by.
recommended by the planning commission. Blah, 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 blah.
Make it.
Motion by Mr. Long,
I'll second.
second by Dr. Carpenter. Any questions?
Yes,
Yeah.
what is,
You're doing a parking lot.
The parking lot where they ripped down the old Mount.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, they're gonna add to that.
Oh, they're extending it?
Right now it's just gravel.
Right.
And they're gonna pave all that, they're gonna fix that, and then they're also gonna
Stripe.
put,
They're gonna add some islands within the parking lot with some trees and some planters. Just make the parking lot better.
yeah, and they've also are coming to us that they're gonna put ramps up by the gym.
Great spending my money, ain't they?
Better believe it.
Wow. Hey.
Any other questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passed. Go on to announcements. Mrs. Provenza.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. And good evening, everyone. We'll start with newsletter. We're currently taking ads and articles for the winter issue of the newsletter, which is going to cover December, January, and February. Ads and articles we're going to do on Friday, November the 1st. And it's a very busy time of year. We really, really need them even before that, if you can get them to us. For articles, Dawn Wharf can be reached at 418-828-3607. And also, at Verona Newsroom at gmail.com. Either way you can be reached, and I can be reached at 412-828-7726 for ads. Chamber of Commerce, next meeting is going to be on Tuesday, September 17th at 7 p.m. here in the Borough Building, and they will be discussing Halloween and Jolly January. With the time of year, so even more will be covered with what I was given today. Winboro Ministries, the community dinner will be on Wednesday, September 25th, at the Methodist Church from 4:30 to 6:30. The dinner will be prepared by Oakmont Methodist Church, and it will be hosted by Verona Methodist Church. Now, I want to make a little bit of a special announcement concerning to community dinners. Our council sponsored the dinners last month. And a lot of you don't know that we have a chef here in the audience. And I have to say, Tim did an outstanding job. He prepared all of the food and the dessert. So a big applause to Tim. That was a big job. So much, yeah, we had many glowing reviews on you. And I'm gonna do a plug for Village Inn. Chef Tim works at Village Inn, so you wonder why you're getting all those good meals. Chef Tim is doing them. So I had to give you credit. I think when credit is due, I have to say thank you. And I want to back up to Mr. Floda. You and your committee did a wonderful job on Sunday. You started something new, and I think it's wonderful. And I thank you, and it was successful. My hat's off to you and your committee.
Thank you.
Yay.
I would like to add too that Vince was the assistant chef
Yeah.
that made the mac and cheese and the salad.
I need the stuffing.
Nature was making stuff.
Me the stuffing.
I have to apologize.
No, it's.
We have extra chefs here. To my left is Chef Vincent, to my right is Chef Terry. I did not know that, so I'm going to stand corrected.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Did it when I wasn't looking. But I thank all of you. That was wonderful. I think we all had a great time. The food was great, and I think we made a lot of people happy. So to all of our chefs and helpers, thank you so much. Now I'll continue. The next is Historical Society. We are back to our evening meetings. And the next meeting is going to be on Thursday, September the 19th, here in the Borough Building at 7 p.m. Dick Williams, who is a member of the Oakmont Historical Society, will be speaking on history in the backyard, the French and Indian War in Western Pennsylvania. So do come, all are welcome. It's always a great, great night, and you learn some things you never knew even happened here. And, let's see, is there anything else? I would ask, are there any questions or comments? And if not, this will conclude my report. And thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
I was also gonna mention the dinner, but Sylvia took care of that. There's a walk trail public meeting Thursday, October 10th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Oakmont Carnegie Library, 700 ARB in Oakmont.
And it's on Facebook and it's on the website.
Thank you.
Next up's comment from the public. Any comment from the public? Come to the microphone, state your name and address, or raise your virtual hand.
Dan T, 518 South Avenue. Had a little ongoing issue over the past few years at my house. I live right above Varner Elementary School on South Avenue. For the past few years, when school lets out, select entitled and lazy parents that can't park legally and walk pick up their kids, like block my driveway. Next to my driveway is the neighbor's driveway that I lease, that I also use to block that as well. I also care for the outside of the property of my neighbor's building on the corner of First and Second. And the second day of school this year, we were cutting the grass, and it was right before school let out, and there was somebody parked in their driveway in the front to pick up their child. And we asked them to move their vehicle so we can cut the grass. And they said, no, they parked there to pick up their child. It's a driveway. It's private. In the last 2 years, we've made dozens of phone calls to the school trying to get mitigated, but with nothing. This year, it's a lot different because I have an infant and my wife or myself get home from work right around time when school lets out. I don't have time to drive around the block 3 times or sit there and wait, turn my driveway when I have a child that's hungry or needs a diaper change or cranky. It's not right. We've put several calls in the police just this year alone, and still nothing's been done. I can't do this anymore. And I will say, I know for a fact, if I take a giant chain in my truck and hook it up to one of these vehicles and drag it out the street, I can guarantee you the police are gonna give me a citation. So I don't understand why they can't check the box that says blocking the driveway on that ticket. Can't be done.
I
So
will,
I'm asking council.
I'll have my officer there tomorrow, and as far as a car parked in the driveway, we won't really know if it's whose car it is, you know what I mean? You said somebody parked in the neighbor's driveway that you maintain. Did you see what I'm saying? We can't distinguish, is it the person in his house?
It's just, I was very,
Yeah.
aggravated.
Yeah, you
over
should
the
be.
attitude that I got for somebody illegally parked in somebody else's driveway.
They feel
They
entitled.
feel entitled.
Is that both in the morning and evening,
I
or,
can't speak for the morning, I don't know.
right, I'll have them
I only know
monitor
this
that.
is an issue for 3 years after my work schedule changed, and I started coming home from work. Didn't come to school.
what I can do is they sit
We
in
committed
the
to taking
apartment
pictures of the
complex by
place.
south to make
Somebody
sure
does
they
that?
don't do that.
Are we permitted to take?
One at a
pictures?
time, please, one at a time.
That'll be taken care of tomorrow.
It's usually just in the afternoon, because in the morning, they drop off and they run off to work fast. But it's in the afternoon, I've seen.
Yeah, could you put a no parking sign there? I mean,
She
they
shouldn't have, well, she didn't have to.
You
She
shouldn't
drives.
have to, I mean, it's common sense. But I've had people parking my driveway. I know how you feel.
I know
Today.
that, I know that they're watching the apartment that's right across the street. They actually are sitting in there. I saw them in there today. I'll just move them up.
If it's parked in front of somebody's driveway illegally, why can't we just take a picture of the car with the plate number?
They'll just ticket it.
And
If it blocks the
Okay.
driveway, you just ticket it. That's what they do down on the moon.
Oh, they get enough tickets, they ain't gonna do that again.
I feel for you, because I'm right across from the moon, you know where I live. They block my driveway, especially since new businesses have popped up down there. It's every day. I have to call
Squeeze them in.
Unfortunately, they can only take it them, and your driveway is still blocked. Like you said, I don't have the right to put a chain on it and drag it out of my way, because then I will get sued.
The only other thing you can, well, you can't do
I
it.
don't think we have the right to
Right up
tow
against it.
either.
I
No,
think in the city,
I'm not
when I
sure.
lived in the city, I was told by the police that if someone starts in front of the driveway, even if it's you and it's your driveway, they will tow the car.
It's not written in the
That's not-
ordinance.
I think you're only allowed,
That's the city.
I think in Verona, you're only allowed to tow if it's blocked by fire hydrant or handicap spot.
I think by the time the tow truck would be there, that school would be gone, they'd be out of there anyway.
We handled.
Yeah, thank you.
I feel for
Is
you,
it-
Dan, I'm sorry.
Is it on your property or is it on the street? In
Parked on
front
the
of the
street,
drive?
in front of the drive.
They are literally parked all over.
Okay.
I was by there today, it's absolutely ridiculous. There has to be, I mean, every other school that I know of has a drop off and pickup policy. I can't believe that this school does not. Because it was really, I mean, I drove by today at 3 o'clock, which is what, 25 minutes before they get out, and you couldn't get anywhere.
Well, they all go over and talk.
I can't believe, when I went to school, 3 people drove their kid to school, we all walked.
We walk.
Verona's
Okay.
3/4 of a square mile.
I'll have the officer go in and talk to the principal also, so they can send a letter out that these people are gonna be tagged.
That's good.
That's a good idea.
That's what I was thinking.
And they will start tagging as of tomorrow if they're blocked.
They
Can
did
we-
send out a letter before school started that said common sense things, like don't bring your dog in front of school and don't.
Can we ask
Stop sending
them
your
to
kids to school with knives.
create a pickup and drop off procedure to stop some of what's happening right now?
Yeah,
Basically, like up these schools.
It used to be on South Avenue at the school itself, they would drop the kids off and leave. But, you know, things have changed, different people have changed and it'll be taken care of.
They even made it one way for a while, just so you could go clockwise. right?
Dan, if it doesn't get any better, let us know.
Will do.
Any other comments?
Cindy Davis, 537 Ridge Avenue.
I spoke to John last month about possible raise for us crossing guards. And I guess Stephanie was talking to Bill about it.
I was not, but I have talked to John about it and personnel will be meeting about it in the near future.
Okay, because I said, you know, when you think about it, we're out there, we should get a little something, you know.
You get raises every year, they kind of balance when they come, but yeah, we'll make sure.
I've been there, this is my second full year of school, and I have not gotten a raise. I've been here 2.5 years, haven't gotten a raise.
Thank you. Anybody else? Take a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Long, second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Passes. Thank you for coming. Thank you for doing our meeting. Have a nice evening. Safe travel.
That's what.
And Sylvia, it's all wrong.
Did you need?
I want.
what is that? I think how it might.
I'm so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good job.
They closed it.
Can I ask a favor? I love you. I'll make you picture cards if that ever happens.
Yes, sir.
The village is closed.
Not finding out about it.
Yeah, next up today.
You're gonna have to-